Hey, thank you for joining me today for this review of Blood Realm from Alterna Press by Robert Geronimo. This is the 80-page giant version of Volume 1. As you can see, it's like $4.99. It is an amazing deal for it. And I have to tell you, this is the book that sold me on Alterna as a company and the quality. Now, this is a mature title. It's a little bit strong. I would honestly say it's probably not too mature for like 15 and up, probably 14 and up, 15 and up, but it does get into some tough things and kind of show things, but it's not overly gory for the sake of just pure gore. Full disclosure is that I don't like most horror comics. I think most horror comics are bad. I think most of them are poorly written. They are literally just like, it's just an excuse to draw obscene stuff, you know. That's the one issue I'm kind of having with, like, say, some of Micah Curtis's stuff, is that it feels like some of, like, the Three Knights stuff is just sort of, it's just to have an excuse to draw, like, horrifyingly awful things, which, you know, to each their own, but I'm not a fan of it. However, as a horror comic goes, Blood Realm is by far one of the best that's out there. It is both well written, and the art is absolutely spectacular. The art is some of the best art you'll ever see. And it's really interesting because it quite honestly is a book of almost all splash pages. It's like, I would say if there's 80 pages in here, I would say that 60 of them are splash pages. It's really insane how it's a book of splash pages. What it does is it tells its story through, you know, blocks of text that sit on the page. I mean, it is splash page after splash page after splash page. It is more of an art book than a comic, in a way, in the way that it's presented, in the way that it's drawn, in the way that it's put together. It reminds me more of an art book than it does a comic. But the story is great. The story is well thought out. The lore and the mythos is almost too well thought out in some places. But it is just a wonderful, wonderful book. The art is perfect. And to be honest with you, this is a book that should be on newsprint. There's always these debates about, high quality paper. Listen, I understand some people, they have such a cartoony style, or they have whatever, that they need the bright. This is one that being on newsprint is perfect because the whites are never quite so white. The grays are always grayer and duller. The blacks are always just a little grayed out, but they're always speckled and have sort of a imperfection to them. It really is an absolutely spectacular book. I mean, it is well put together. And again, splash pages. It is splash page after splash page. And so it's an art book, and it really is. It is. Robert Geronimo has proven himself to be one of the best artists out there. He is a great writer. I mean, he absolutely is a great writer, but he is an artist first and foremost, and that is incredibly obvious with the way this is put together, and just everything about it, even on the splash pages, and how that, you know, it crosses the borders on some places, and it just feels bigger than life. It feels foreboding and ominous like it's supposed to. I always have to pick one thing that I think is could be considered a negative. On Blood Realm, it's difficult for me to do. That is very difficult for me to do. The only thing I could possibly say about it is that it's short. That's the one issue that I have with it, is that it's a little short. Now, I understand it continues. There are more chapters out and there are more coming. But it's a little short. It's just, it starts a little slow, but then when it picks up, it's a little short. I would have liked to have seen a few more issues. I definitely would have liked to have seen a few more issues with these characters, because the characters change from volume 1 to volume 2 to volume 3. They do change. Again, newsprint is perfect for this book. Anything, if they offer it on better paper, I won't get it, because newsprint is the perfect medium for this sort of thing. The art is just perfect, and like I said, it's just the coloring and just the shading and everything is just perfect. The fact that the whites, they're just not quite white, is just absolutely stunning. So that is one of the few issues you have with it, is that it's a little short. I'm not certain if this is like a D&D campaign that was turned into a book. Maybe it was. If it was a very short campaign. But again, it's a little short. There are some places where I feel like it actually was fluffed out a little bit by the way it was put together. So again, the story is not huge, especially for how much lore and mythos is in it. But it reads big. It reads like an epic. It takes a little while. Believe it or not, you would think splash pages, it just flips through. Anybody remembers the death of Superman? It was like 22 splash pages. This is not that. This is not going to take you 2 minutes to flip through. This is going to take you 25, 30 minutes, because you're going to be looking at the art, acknowledging the art, and you're going to be admiring just the little details that are put into every single page of this. It's definitely has the perfect vibe and horror, especially we're coming into September and October. It is spectacular for this season. It's going to be nice reading this when it's a chilly October evening, drinking some warm cider or something like that. It really is. And same thing with most of these Alterna Giants at the end. It goes through characters and discusses more, and then it has an art gallery with art by various people, and it's absolutely spectacular. I even went so far as to order a print of some of the art that was in here just so I could put it on my wall, because it really is spectacular. The entire thing is just wonderful. And as great as it looks in color, honestly, black and white with only red is just as amazing. And so I can't recommend this book highly enough. This is yes, go get it. It is worth it. You can buy all 3 of the first 3 volumes for $15. So you would be getting, like 240 pages or something like that for $15. And it's just as good. Volume 2, Volume 3, just as good as the first volume. And maybe even a little bit better as far as the writing is more stamped out and the lore is a little bit stronger. Definite recommend. Alterna is really pushing for being one of the higher quality companies out there. In the fact that their books are both artistically cut above most comic books out there, and writing, they have really picked up their quality of writing. And so there has been 2 or 3 series from Alterna that the writing has just been spectacular. That is something that comics have not had in years, aside from just a few individuals here or there, is good writing consistently. And so definitely back it. Blood Realm from Alterna, Robert Geronimo. He's on Twitter. Alterna's on Twitter. Make sure you stop by and say hi to him. Peter Samiti, one of the nicest guys on the planet. Blood Realm, Dark Covenant. Definitely recommend. Thanks for joining us. Remember to like, subscribe, share, do all the YouTube stuff that they have you do, clicking bells and not getting notifications. And we will have more later.